Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just coming on to Bitcoin. We're going to CoinsKid crew. So this fifth wave played out, and this is something I was looking at for Bitcoin in the Discord with the CoinsKid crew way back here on the 15th of March. Trader, if we see BTC fail at the top of the 8-hour ribbon, it may be in a bear flag with a final fifth wave down to the red line to shake out all the weak hands. I do look for a big uptick in sell-off and buying volume for bottoms as well, which we have not seen on that local bottom. Invalidation, take out the sloping white line. So we've got this trend line coming up. We got rejected and then boom, we dropped. So I did do an update on this for the CoinsKid crew as and when it happened. We got the drop and then we basically retested the support as resistance. And again, I don't post multiple charts in the Bitcoin section. As and when I see things, I will post stuff. People get annoyed that I don't post stuff every single day, but every single day is not necessarily a trade on Bitcoin. This is why I look at altcoins. This is why I built the systems, because, you know, sometimes Bitcoin's crabbing and going sideways and it's really boring. So the update to this bear flag, you can clearly see it broke down. You got this channel, it's coming back up like this. You broke down, you back test with this previous support of the channel as resistance, caught up in compression, and boom, we dropped to the technical target of the flag. It was amazing, and equally got the breakout in volume. So BTC formed a possible bear flag, broke down, back testing the channel as resistance, and now is pushing towards the apex of a horizontal. Tech target of flag has not yet been met, increasing volume in a bearish trend. Unless we see short squeeze, it's not looking great for BTC here. So we got that last drop, it's come down and it's absolutely bolted to the upside. And I did do another little update for Bitcoin here for the CoinsKid crew. Look at this channel break. So we broke out the channel, and fantastic. We break out. This does increase the probability that that was your low from which you've come for Bitcoin. Now this is a key thing I'm looking at. There's no perma bull, perma bear, whatever on this particular channel. I did do an update for the CoinsKid crew this morning. Again, this is a real-time update. This is what I look for, you know, for spot things, and I will post them in the Discord. And it's a lot easier for me to do that than making a million videos for you guys. I hope you understand that. Okay, so this morning I did post Bitcoin has done well. We're claiming the 20-week EMA, the yellow line, and holding the dotted white line once more. You can clearly see from this bottom in 2022, we've come up, resistance, found support, resistance, found support, resistance, found support once more, and this dotted white line. And just like here, we broke above a 20, led to an impulsive move, broke above a 20, led to an impulsive move, and right now we are breaking above a 20. So technically Bitcoin is looking okay. You know, if we're looking at this structurally, it's looking pretty sound, to be honest with you. But I want to see this backed up by the S&P 500. The same thing I was relaying just here and the same thing I was relaying just here. We've got to be careful because we need to see the S&P 500 being bullish as well. So just as I relayed here to the CoinsKid crew, however, we need to see the S&P 500 do the same. We claim the 20-week EMA. Failure to do so could be a clue that BTC is about to break down towards the green line at 32k. So there's no guarantees that this is bullish or bearish or whatever, but I will react to what the charts tell me. Okay, so we've been holding this support, but if it's to start to break down and we see the S&P rejected at its 20-week EMA, it could lead to a big sell-off here for Bitcoin, potentially, you know, triggering some kind of bear market here for the, you know, Bitcoin. Really simple. So we're holding on to support for dear life here for Bitcoin. Now what I want to see, obviously, which is really good for crypto, it's really good for our portfolios, is the fact that Bitcoin's breaking bull. It's going to break out to the upside, but we've got to see it backed up by the S&P 500, and a lot of people don't respect that. It is the king of risk. It front runs. So obviously I want it to take off into space. I'm not a perma bull, perma bear, whatever, but I'm just waiting for the structure and the data from the S&P 500 to give us more clues that this is not necessarily a bull trap. So far it is looking pretty tasty. If I was to lay the cards on the table, what Bitcoin's done so far, it is looking pretty impulsive right there, because we do see 5 waves up. So just be cautious jumping into longs at this point, and it's something I'm relaying to, because at the moment Bitcoin is running up in 5, and like I've taught you, when you run up in 5, increased probability of a pullback. Okay, a lot of people say I'm too bearish or whatever, but we're just riding the waves. 5 waves up, you don't jump in. 5 waves down, you jump in. And this is exactly what we've done on the breakdown of this bear flag that I relayed to you way back when in March right there on this support. We jumped in here, and right now we're riding this bad boy up, and if it starts to break out, take off, fantastic. But what we're looking for is a pullback, wave 2. At that point we increase probability, because of the S&P 500 doing exactly the same as Bitcoin, getting its ass back up with its 20, it does increase probability. Okay, we're looking at a beautiful impulsive move up, so we've got to be patient there. Okay, a lot of people get really impatient. They want things today, you know, and these things take time, especially structural bombs. For example, here you take a look, you broke out your back test, you broke out your back test, you've not back tested that 20 yet, and this is something we see on every single breakout. Look at this, you break out your back test to 20, you break out your back test to 20, you break out your back test to 20. We've not seen the back test yet, and I think that this could be coming. This is why, in confluence with the tether dominance right there, I do think we could see a pullback over the next couple of weeks here, just to confirm this breakout on Bitcoin. But most importantly, I know I keep rambling on, but the S&P 500 is the boss. If it breaks above its 20 and holds holds it for multiple weeks, it really does increase probability that this is not necessarily a bull trap before a breakdown to this green line. Now, why am I looking at that green line? So let me dive into the charts right now and show you why we could see Bitcoin at 32k if the S&P 500 fails to get back above its 20 and we start to see this trend line lost for Bitcoin. Let me dive into the charts right now, okay? So another key chart I'm looking at with yourselves is the tether dominance. I've been looking at this for a very long time. Way back when we've got this flush to the downside, we've got a beautiful bullish divergence. I think this was in March and April of 2024 right there. Look at that. You're making high lows and you've got lower lows in the index. That led to a huge retracement in this particular chart, which is your tether dominance. It was creating a huge bearish flag, overlapping corrective nature, like I said to you. And then once it got really overbought just there, we did begin to print a bearish divergence, pretty similar to what we've done in recent times. So you've got your bullish divergence that's come up, led to a bearish divergence that's led to this breakdown of tether dominance, okay? So basically you got the bear flag coming up like this, flagging back down, and like I said to you, the confluence is, look at all this support on this beautiful channel for tether. We broke down just there, and like I relayed at the time, that's a very bullish statement for Bitcoin, and equally to accompany this statement is the red sell dot in the tether dominance. So this broke down, and like I said to you, the technical target is where we formed the flag. So you've been trending back up in the tether dominance, you broke down, back test, the technical target was met, and right now we've had another retracement coming back up the stairs. So technically, what's bullish for Bitcoin at the moment and crypto is the fact that what we've done, we've got this high and we've still made a lower high. And actually here, this is a low and this is a lower low. So this is still in a downtrend, although obviously it doesn't feel like it. So this has been trending back up and right towards the top, just like we saw just there, we're seeing a bearish divergence where we've got this high, lower high, you've got the high, always use your candle bodies, and then you've got your higher high just there. And just there we've got this high and we've got this higher high in the index, but lower highs in the other side. So we've got a bearish divergence just like we've got there. We've got a hidden bearish divergence just there, okay, which has led to this pullback. So this pullback currently is looking quite similar to this pullback here where we dropped, came up and then dropped below the 20. You can clearly see we've got this drop, came up and dropped below the 20, and right now we're toying with losing this 20 just like we did there. But what happened there? Okay, so basically at this time frame here, Bitcoin was getting its ass back above its 20-week EMA. It was breaking above. But then once this came back up into this double top drop scenario, the God candle backtest just there where you lost this support, this is where Bitcoin pulled back. So I think there's no, absolutely no bias on this channel. I think the tether dominance may be giving us a clue that we are about to see something similar to what we saw just there in late September leading to October. Bitcoin was doing really well, but once this came back up into this resistance of a double top drop, this is where Bitcoin and crypto had a bit of a pullback. So are we about to see the same again? You got this scenario where you break down like this, lose a 20, and you retrace into the double top drop. You've got this beautiful double top drop, you're breaking down like this, and in the next couple of weeks we should see some kind of pullback in this particular chart to backtest this double top drop just like it did there, and at that point we should see Bitcoin pull back into its 20-week EMA to confirm it as support, which is typically what we always see in every single breakdown. Once it's finished its correction, we see the break up and break back into the 20-week EMA. So maybe a little bit of confidence in the tether dominance right now that over the next couple of weeks we may see some kind of pullback. But what we're looking for in this time frame for the tether dominance is pretty similar to what we got there, the lower high structure where you're maintaining these lower highs for the tether dominance right towards the apex and the red sell dot. So we need to see something like this for tether where it fizzles out, making these lower highs. At that point, if we do begin to print a red sell dot, we've got an increased probability of a drop just like we got just there, which was obviously a major move up for Bitcoin for anyone that remembers. So equally, if we take a look, this is the RSI at this time frame just there, and if I drop a horizontal line on the RSI, this is where it was that led to the pullback, and right now this is pretty similar to where you are right now. So we'll keep an eye on that level, roughly 34.56. If we do start seeing a drop, this may be about to come back up into these God candle backtests just there, which obviously leads to a pullback in Bitcoin. Let me drop the Bitcoin price action on so you can see it better, okay? And if you want to play with this chart, just come to trading view. The ticker is USDT.D, okay? It's an inverse correlation to Bitcoin. So if I drop the Bitcoin price action in right now, all you got to do if you want to drop it in is go to plus symbol, BTC USD, and you're dropping it in and it's new price to scale, basically, really simple. So if I show you this, we've been looking at this confluence for a very long time, and right now I think we need to pay attention to this because typically once we break down, if we start to see God candles flush through support, they are resistance points. You will see retracements, okay? This is why I'm leaning more towards the fact, okay, we may have seen a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this chart to the downside and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Bitcoin to the upside, but it does increase the probability of reversal, some kind of ABC, okay? You know, we've been here a million times. So basically, if you take a look at this, this was dropping like this, and once it's come up, if you take a look at Bitcoin, what was it doing? It was falling as this was coming up. So this was retesting its 20-week EMA before the explosive vertical to the upside. So you've got some kind of impulsive corrective move breakout right now, possible impulsive corrective breakout, and very similar situation as to what we got late last year. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. That's my primary at the moment. So I'm looking for the validation, and the validation will be the S&P 500 getting rejected and Bitcoin losing a key trend line, which I'm about to show you in the Bitcoin chart. And obviously, if this thing starts to turn around and breaks out, Bitcoin's in a world of trouble. So we need to keep an eye on the tether dominance. You know, keep an eye on that. The ticker is USDT.D. Let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, see what we can see. Okay. So looking at Bitcoin on the 8-hourly time frame, I was looking at this bear flag way back when with you. We've got the breakdown, flagging back up, broke down, back test resistance, boom, technical target of the bear flag been met. Come up in a potential one, called up 2, 3, 4, 5. We are seeing 5 waves to the upside right now. Equally on the tether dominance, we are seeing 5 waves to the downside. So like I said to you, if you start to see 5 waves down, you buy it. So in theory, you should be buying tether. And if you start to see 5 waves up on anything, you should be selling, which is what we're seeing on Bitcoin. So we're seeing 5 waves up on Bitcoin and 5 waves down on tether. So in theory, you should be hopping into tether from Bitcoin to minimize your risk. Okay, a lot of people, they start to long breakouts of resistance, and you know, this is not what we do on the channel. We long support when we see 5 waves down, just like we saw here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, this is where you go long, 5-wave counter, and this is something I've been relaying to you for a very, very long time right there. Okay, just a simple 5-wave counter rule. Now equally here, if we take a look, we've got a 1 into a 2 into a potential 3, coming up 4, 5. So we're beginning to print 5 microwaves there for Bitcoin as well. At some point, this should come back, just like it has many times before. Once you break this thick yellow line after a potential bottom, you do usually ABC back into it. So I'm looking over the next few days, I think Bitcoin could run into a level of resistance and begin to correct. Okay, if it does start to correct, I will short it, put my stop loss on the pivot eye, so keep an eye out in the Discord for that particular trade, and I'll look to short it all the way down to at least this yellow line, wherever it is in time. Now if we look at this previous breakout and this trade that we did way back when, for anyone remembers, you can clearly see we've got this ABC that came back, and I remember trading this with you. We broke out this beautiful diamond bottom pattern, got our ass back up over 20 in 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. ABC came all the way back down to 20. We rode it, kept moving a stop loss up for those people that remember, and it was a beautiful breakout of a big monster third wave to new all-time highs. So this is what I'm looking at, just being patient with you guys. Okay, right now, if you're taking in on longs, you're doing it wrong. If you're buying Bitcoin right now, you are taking on risks to the downside because of the 5 waves up that we're seeing currently on the micro time frame. So I'll leave you with that. But if you are looking for trades on Bitcoin, XRP, or any of these crypto projects, definitely get involved in the Discord. But right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, increase the probability of some kind of drawdown. So I'm going to be patient. The next drawdown, like I said to you, could be a golden opportunity to go long, very minimal risk trade right there, and then we'll ride this bad boy out to new all-time highs. But we've got to see the S&P 500 getting its ass back above the 20-week EMA, and we've got to see that breakdown on the tether dominance. So currently, what we're looking for is another little microwave here. So from this bottom here, like I said to you yesterday, I think we've got an ascending triangle here. You're 1 into a 2 into a breakout 3, possible 4, 5. Nice little microwave just there, 5 waves. If we see that, you've got an increased probability of an ABC coming back down into this zone here, and I'll try and find the exact zone for you. Okay, once we begin to look a little bit top here for Bitcoin. So again, I wish them most luck, but I don't necessarily think this move is going to break out the all-time highs. Technically, what we always do is come up in a 1, pull back 2, break out 3. This next big third wave, it could be very, very powerful, and it'll carry the crypto markets with that. But like I keep relaying to you time and time again, keep an eye on that tether dominance, and keep an eye on the S&P 500 for that break above a 20-week EMA to, you know, increase probability that this is bullish market structure and not necessarily a retracement. So good luck, everybody. If you're looking for the trades, dive into Discord. Take care. Back to a new update on Bitcoin. Stay up, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.